Larry Groce, mountainstage.org is where you can hear the show if it's not on your public radio station. And we are honored on today's show to have the Carolina Chocolate Drops with us. We got two of the four. Now four, was three.
Yeah.
Now four. We got one of the new members, Hubby Junkins, and then one of the original members, Dom Flemmons. And this change just took place, right? A little turnover, a little evolution.
Well, it happened a little earlier than everybody found out about. Toward the end of the year, Justin, our original fiddler, he wanted to stop being on the road. He just wanted to pursue his true love, which is nature and animals. So he's going into graduate school in forestry. Huh. And so that's what he wanted to do. So I'd known Hubby a few years, visiting New York City, and so I called him up, and he said he wanted to join. So we reconfigured the group, and it's been a good thing so far.
Well, you guys have been definitely interested in old-time traditional music. Has that been one of your interests too, Hubby?
Definitely, yeah. In New York, I started out being interested in country blues and more of the folk sort of thing, starting from Bob Dylan and getting into Bucka White and Son House and those guys. I started getting more into an interest of the history and getting into minstrel music and working my way forward from that, cakewalks and music happening on the plantations. I started seeing this trend of black people playing old-time music and string band music, and then an interest just developed from that.
Let's tear into one here. Julianne Johnson. Yeah, you're all there? Well, the original group, we met at a thing called the Black Banjo Gathering, which happened in Boone, North Carolina, and Joe happened to be there. So it was one of the first major events where a lot of scholars and also black string band players got together to talk about the African and black roots of the banjo. And so that's kind of that's sort of the big idea that was talked about. And then Justin he started talking with Joe Thompson, and then we started going down to his house, and then Rhiannon joined him, and then I joined them. And from there, we just started consistently going down to Joe's house, learned all of his tunes, and then we started our group, and just kind of the interest just with the black string band, it's just been phenomenal, far past what we ever expected. But it's been a very great thing to be able to bring this music out there.
Oh, Lammy, poor black string got no mammy. Sheep in the goat, they went to the pasture. Sheep said, go to bed and get a little faster. I got a gal that's in this town. I know my gal fool around. Oh, my gal, she's pretty and fine. Oh, I wish my gal was mine.
We're here in Bristol, Tennessee, Virginia, and as this week is a special thing because there's a re-release by Bear Family Records of the 1927-1928 Bristol sessions that were recorded here. A lot of the great musicians that, the big bang of country music, as it's called. And a lot of people forget, because most of the people at the sessions were white. There were a couple of, as a matter of fact, it was one of the first integrated sessions ever in 1927 where people played black folks and white folks together. But they tend to forget, since it's bluegrass and old-time music, where the banjo came from. It's funny, one time we came here to celebrate, we had Vieux Farquhar on the show.
Oh, yeah.
And why'd you have him? I said, well, think about where the banjo came from, and it makes a little more sense then,
Absolutely.
And I mean, they know, of course, but it just slips their mind because there's not a lot of black bluegrass players, but
Absolutely.
But in old time bands and stuff, there were plenty.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I found even when I started getting into the music, I got into it just for me as a personal thing. Like, this is the music I can express myself through. I'd be playing Delta blues, I'd be playing Robert Johnson tunes or Charlie Patton tunes. And people come up to me like, oh, why are you playing country music? Why are you playing bluegrass? You know,
Yeah.
it's like, no, this is blues music. You know,
Absolutely.
Just adds on to the mission of okay, now we can start doing the education things as well as expressing and enjoying it. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people don't realize, you know, a lot of the black string band players, they didn't really take the time to become professional, and then other times, it's actually a very similar story that's happening through American popular music a lot of times. Sometimes the white guys or ladies also learn from black musicians, and then they take it somewhere.
Right.
In like the Carter family, they knew Leslie Riddle, who was a great Piedmont player, who, you know, oddly enough, see, people know a good friend of his, Brownie McGee.
Right.
But he never really, you know, got professional with his music. Then he moved away to Rochester, New York, you know, and so it wasn't until Mike Seeger recorded him later that we found out more about this kind of integrated history. Same thing with Bill Monroe, with Arnold Schultz.
Absolutely. I see, most people don't know those two connections, which are huge.
Yeah.
And the music would not be the same without that influence. I mean, it's obvious that it would not.
Lights in the valley,
Outshine the sun.
lights in the valley,
Outshine the sun.
lights in the valley,
Outshine the sun.
way beyond the blue. Singing in the valley,
Outshine the sun.
singing in the valley,
Outshine the sun.
singing in the valley,
Outshine the sun.
way beyond the blue.
Here it is, genuine Negro Jig Carolina chocolate drops. And now with the new members, is it going to be a different sound? Just going to keep evolving, do whatever, you know, you're bringing new stuff to it, your sensibility, your talents, more instruments.
Well, yeah, the band's definitely developing a different sound. I'd say it's definitely getting more of a bluesier sound. I'm not a great fiddle player, so I'm bringing my mandolin into it, which is been developing it. And I guess the really big thing that's happening is Adam Mata, who is the human beatboxer.
Yeah, so you got some serious percussion, some interesting beat going on with the whole
Absolutely.
thing, which seems to fit right in.
Sure, sure.
And it makes total sense.
Yeah.
It's dance music. Dance music is dance music. I mean, you know,
Oh,
whether it's
absolutely.
1876 or 2006.
Yeah.
There's been people coming up to us after all the shows being like, I don't know what it was you were doing, but that was perfect.
Exactly.
That's the way it goes.
While he was scheming, I was beaming, and his beamer just beaming. I can't believe that I caught my man cheating, so I found another way to make him pay for it all. So I went to Neiman Marcus on a shopping spree, and on the way grabbed Soleil and Mia, and as the cash box rang, I threw everything away. Hey ladies, when your man wanna get buck wild, just go back and hit him up style. Get your hands on his cash and spend it to the last time for all the hard times. When you go, then everything goes, from the crib to the ride in the clothes. So you better let him know that if he mess up, you gotta hit him up.
So we try to be conscious of that, you know, that we've been an old time band and we play the old time fiddle tunes. So we try to keep that flavor with us as well as evolving the sound. So we try to keep both sides so that people that don't know much about the music can enjoy it, as well as people who know a lot about the music,
Yeah.
or collectors and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know, always try to keep it so everybody has a good time in
Yeah.
whatever way.
Keep the soul in there. Keep it what it, you know, the original feel of it, what you're doing. And it's not like you're trying to change it into something. You're just doing it so it relates to people.
Absolutely.
You know, as they're listening today. That's it. That's great. Thanks for being with us. Nice to meet you, and look forward to hearing you on the show today. Carolina Chocolate Drops. And check them out when they come to your neighborhood. Y'all will be playing a lot of gigs, I assume.
Oh yeah, you can go on to www.carolinachocolategdrops.com.
There it is. You'll find out when they're coming. Go out and see them.